Are you ready? Because he's ready. It's Master Jeff, martial arts expert, instructor extraordinaire, and general clown. He's not afraid of coronavirus. He's not afraid of the bad guys. Master Jeff is not afraid of anything. Oh, sorry guys, we were getting a little head start. Let me wipe off the blood. Like that. Good to see you folks. Zoe is going to be participating, but also our producer. Or if you want me to, I can co-produce. Zoe, let me see something. Let me see if I actually, on this first one. Yes, do you see me down here? Yes, I'm talking to you from down here. This is our bokken suburi list. And suburi just means exercise. So it's your basic fundamental moves of the sword of Aikido. The first one is shomanuchi, which is just a straight down chop, and then shomanuchi shiko drop, where you drop your whole body along with the chop. Then you have shomanuchi offline, which is perhaps a more effective way to use it because you're getting out of the way. Then you have the yokomanuchis, which is a 45-degree cut. Renzoku just means repeated. Then you have yokomanuchi watershed, where you do a cut and then you block your head. And then yokomanuchi reverse, where you do a 45-degree cut and then an upwards 45-degree cut. Then you have ski shomanuchi in that T-S-U-K-I, see number 8, 9, and 10. That's pronounced ski. So, really in Japanese, it's like tsuki. But, we just say ski. So ski shomanuchi, ski block, and then a move called deflection. Now, you look at this list and you go, oh, my Lord, have mercy. How am I going to remember all this crap? Well, there's some cool little mnemonic devices like this. The first three are the shomanuchi series. So you've got stop slacking off. Hard to remember all those random terms, but if you can always remember stop slacking off, something that strikes an emotional chord. So stop stands for shomanuchi. Slacking stands for shiko drop. Off, of course, stands for offline. So stop slacking off. The next four are the yokomanuchi series. You remember this? By Real Women Love Rugby. Real stands for renzoku, or repeating. Women stands for watershed. Love stands for looping. And rugby stands for reverse. Then finally, you have ski, or tsuki. And I know that tsuki starts with a T, but it sounds like it starts with an S, so I chose S mnemonic devices. So you've got supersonic, softball, dominates. So you just think of some weird supersonic softball league. Supersonic stands for ski shomanuchi. Softball stands for ski block. Dominates stands for deflection. So once you get into this and you start kind of coming to understand the terms and what they mean a little, then it just becomes a challenge of remembering them all. But it's easy to think, stop slacking off. Oh yeah, stop. Oh yeah, shomanuchi. And then Real Women Love Rugby, renzoku watershed looping reverse. And then supersonic softball dominates, or ski shomanuchi, ski block, and then deflection. So let me make myself big again with the live cam, and there we are. So, if I were really on the ball, I would have put these in the description. But here, let me put it up here one more time. If you want to, you can screenshot that, create a little image and put it on your desktop, or we can just proceed, just go right along with the program, and you guys can write this stuff down later. You come back and review the video and write this stuff down later. Okay, so let's get started. The first one is shomanuchi. But we need to talk, all shomanuchi is a straight down cut like this, right? And it seems simple, and it is, but something to keep in mind is how a blade works. A blade does a lot better job of cutting when you slice. You know, I grab a hold of the blade like this, I could probably squeeze pretty hard before it started cutting me. But if I grabbed it and then someone went like this, I'm going to be sliced immediately. So when we come down, you don't bring it down like a chopping block. You bring it down like a guillotine with your hands first and the tip trailing behind. You see how it's slicing now? It's slicing as it moves along. It looks like a guillotine. That's why guillotines have a 45-degree angle blade instead of chopping straight down. You ever notice that about a guillotine? It doesn't do this. A guillotine does this. And that's the same way we do with our shomanuchi cut. We raise up the tip first. We bring our hands down first with the tip dragging behind. Then at the end, you even it out, and you can even add a little push forward cut like that. Exactly. And Zoe just reminded me of something else. The way we grip the handle of the bokken. And I've heard some argument and debate about this, but I happen to buy into this particular philosophy. You notice baseball players have their hands together, and for good reason. The best leverage for a single big swing is with your hands together, and you put your body and you twist into it, and you really lay into that ball and knock one over the fence. And that's great if you're doing a single cut with a sword. You'd come in with both hands together like this. However, it doesn't go like that because the samurai's not going to stand there and just let me decapitate him. He's going to be blocking and he's going to be coming back at me. So I have my hands apart so that I can manipulate the blade quickly like this. Come up for a block. Like that, switch it to a ski, a block, a shomanuchi, or turn this way, yokomanuchi, whatever, so I can manipulate the blade quickly. I have my hands apart. Of course, making it even more maneuverable, I could grab here. Now I could really maneuver it, but of course I'm cutting my hands. So you jam your right hand right up against the suba, or the blade guard, what do you call that? I don't even know what it is in English. Up against the suba like this. This sword doesn't have a suba. It's just got a little mark where the handle ends. And the other one you have right down at the butt of the sword. And you leave a little butt left because it can actually be used as a weapon as well, like that. So that's the way you grip the sword. If you find yourself like this, fix it all the way to where the blade starts and all the way down to the bottom. Okay, so our shomanuchi. And you can just stand right beside me. Oh, look at this. We forgot to sweep the sound stage before we started. I'm thinking, by the way, to flip these mats for the duration of our online classes, because over here you've got some good contrast between my uniform and the floor, and all of a sudden over here, oh, where did Master Jeff go? He's blending in with the background. He's such a chameleon. We'll talk about that later, and you may just tune in one day to find all this wood natural colored. Okay, so with the shomanuchi, it's done in place. We chamber, step back even, and then you just come right down and chop. Shomanuchi like this. So let's look at the footwork. Chambering, coming forward, and then the other leg drags up, almost meets even with the first foot. Then I'm back, chamber, cut, chamber, cut, chamber, cut, chamber. You can do it with your left leg forward too. Creates a little bit of awkwardness because look, my right leg's forward, the right hand's on top, so it leaves some space right there for my leg. With my left leg forward, it's right there next to my arm. It's a little awkward, but of course you want to be able to cut with either leg forward, right? So you can try a few with your right leg. And then a few with your left leg. And remember, we're slicing as we go down. Not a chop like this, but a slice. Now, you Aikido guys, Alejandro, I guess that's pretty much just you from what I can see on the list. Us Taekwondo guys talk a lot about bending your knees. We're always doing these front stances and I'm yelling at people and I'm hitting them with one of those slatted swords over there or with a bunk head, a swim noodle or something about bending their knees. Same thing applies in Aikido, although the Aikido guys a lot of times slack off with that. So we're not doing this, standing there like we're about to play golf or something or go shopping for shoes. No, we got our knees bent like that. The knees are always slightly bent. Anything athletic or combat, you want your knees bent like that. And that's just athletics. That's just physicality. I don't really like calling martial arts a sport, but it most certainly has athletic aspects to it. So knees bent. Okay, that's Shomanuchi. Then you've got Shomanuchi Shiko drops, which is basically doing lunges with a sword cut. So I'm here, do the exact same thing, but when I arrive, I go down on one knee, just like that. Same slicing cut, or the other side, like so. So there's our Shomanuchi Shiko drop. Now, some variations on how to practice this is to just walk down the floor. I can walk down the floor with my Shomanuchi. I just cut, chamber, cut, chamber, cut, and I can do it with my Shiko drop. My Shiko drop, chamber, Shiko drop, chamber, Shiko drop. So you get some great quad workout along with your sword cut practice. And then the third, Shomanuchi suburi, is offline. So before we even go there, let's talk about this step that keeps coming up in a lot of these classes, which is the tenkan. 1 foot forward, the other foot back. 1 foot forward, the other foot back. And there are infinite variations. I could come here and just switch feet, right? I could come here, do a full circle. I could do more than a full circle. I could do not quite a full circle, 90 degrees. And in this case, we're going to do 245. So I'm facing this way. I step forward with one leg, back with the other. So it's like I'm standing on a corner, an L, like this. Zoe, let me borrow your sword, my dear. And it's not an exact science. I'm coming here and then back, here and then back, here and then back. And I've got this at a little bit more of an acute than 90-degree angles. It looks way acute on the screen, but it's really not that much more. That right there is exactly 90 degrees. It doesn't look 90 degrees on the screen, but it is. Okay. Thank you, man. So we start our cut. We move forward. We step back. Shomanuchi. Chamber. Forward. Step back. Shomanuchi. Offline. Offline. Once again, there are infinite variations. We can barely move like this. I'm just stepping off a little. We can also move a full 180 like that. Either way works. Right? Okay, so there are our 3 Shomanuchis. So you've got your, let's remember our little list. Stop, slacking, off. Shomanuchi, Shiko drop, offline. Okay. Now we go to our Yokomanuchis. The Yokomanuchi is just a Shomanuchi executed at 45 degrees. A good target is, of course, right there because you're moving perpendicular to the joint between neck and shoulder. We used to joke that a samurai would cut right here, 45 degrees, so you've got one arm and a head. You just tie the wrist onto your saddle and you come home with these trophies of arms and heads. Ugh. Okay, so a Yokomanuchi, you want to cut toward the back leg with a Yokomanuchi. Now this one, I mean, you could do this, but you're getting perilously close to that front knee. Anything's possible. I hate to ever say right or wrong, but boy, this is a huge risk. with this leg in front. You can do it, like I said, but it's just not preferable. So if a right leg's coming forward, then we start on the right and we cut down to the left. And I don't know if you can tell from the angle there, but it's the same thing. I don't chop down like this. I bring my handle into a slice like that. So it's like a 45-degree guillotine, like that. Now this one is more comfortable and more natural, right? Almost like a baseball bat swing. This one, your arms are crossed, notice. Oh, and by the way, another bit of Asian trivia. In Japan, there are no lefties. There might be natural-born lefties, but everybody's made to be a righty. At least that's the way it was for ages. And so with the samurai sword, you always put the right on top and the left at the butt, even if you're a lefty. It's kind of like the piano. There are no left-handed pianos, and there are no left-handed samurai swords. So you just learn it like that. And once again, it's not better or worse. It is different. If you're left-handed and you hold it like this, you've got your strong hand, your dominant hand on the bottom, and your non-dominant hand on the top. It just makes it feel different. I, of course, have practiced like this a little bit, and I found that I kind of like going backwards with my dominant hand at the bottom. So perhaps lefties even have a slight advantage, because as you get going, this hand is kind of like your aimer, your sights or whatever, and this one delivers the power and really controls the sword like that. I've actually found the same thing with shooting handguns. I'm still more comfortable, and I like shooting with my dominant hand pulling the trigger and kind of taking control, with the non-dominant hand supporting the pistol, but I've found that I'm actually more accurate if I squeeze the trigger with the left and I support with my right. And I think it's just because the right is in control. It's my dominant hand. It has more control, so I'm better able to hold the gun on target. It's just not as satisfying, you know, when you use your non-dominant hand to squeeze the trigger. All psychological. Anyway, right hand's always on top. Thus, a cut that goes almost like a baseball bat this way is a yokomanuchi. When you cut this way, it's called gyaku, or reverse or backwards. I'm not sure the exact translation. I'm sure Master Settles knows. So yokomanuchi, gyaku yokomanuchi, gyaku yokomanuchi. Okay, so with yokomanuchi, you walk forward every time, and you chamber straight up each time. You can't really see my sword. Like this, I'm chambering straight up, knees bent, Alejandro. I'm chambering for that guillotine cut, stepping forward, yokomanuchi. Then I chamber over here, gyaku yokomanuchi. From the other side, yokomanuchi. I chamber straight up, gyaku yokomanuchi. I chamber straight up, gyaku yokomanuchi. I chamber straight up, gyaku yokomanuchi. So there's Rintoku. Next we have watershed. Watershed's a really cool block, and it really kind of goes back, relates closely to our high block in Taekwondo, which is also a watershed type block. How often do we talk about avoiding the hamster wheel type high block, where it's just forearm against whatever's hitting us? And instead, we come this way, and your forearm serves as a watershed, like water trickles off, drops down the side of the house over there. It's the same thing with a watershed block with a sword. So we're coming up this way. Now, one important thing is your hands are going to be more comfortable right here. What is wrong with this block? Zoe, please stand right there. And careful, go slowly, please. So Zoe's coming to chop me in the head, and I block like this. And there are my fingers and my handle. Ugh. So I want to scoop my hands over where she's hitting there. So I'm looking right through this hole. Right there is where I need to see you. If I'm seeing you here, this is a problem. I need to see you here, right through this triangle. Right? No hands over my head. Okay. So we do our yokomanuchi. Then we take a little slide back. Slide back, not a step back. We're stepping forward and we're sliding back. So yokomanuchi, and I slide back watershed. Notice how I can see you right through there. So my blade's doing the work. Then I step forward for a gyaku yokomanuchi and a scoonch back watershed. Notice I can see you right through there. And the gyaku watershed is the hardest. I've got my arms crossed. The yokomanuchi over here, look, my arms are comfortable. The yokomanuchi over here, my arms are crossed. So it's a little awkward.
We call this the yokomanuchi.
The watershed block. Yeah, thank you, Zoe. All right, so we walk down the floor. We start here. We back up to here for yokomanuchi, yokomanuchi, slide back watershed. Gyaku yokomanuchi, slide back watershed. Gyaku yokomanuchi, slide back watershed. Gyaku yokomanuchi, slide back watershed. Notice the knees are still bent. Alejandro! I'm about to chop my chair. When I get up close, I have Gabby's chair. So I don't talk to you like this, nor do I have to stand in a horse stance, so my knees are getting numb as I speak to you guys, but I almost chopped my chair. Okay, so that's yokomanuchi renzoku, which means repeating, and yokomanuchi watershed. Let's see what was next. Real women love looping. Oh, I love looping. So you think of is my Sharpie over here? Ooh, I've got something written there. Let's just clean that off. There we go. You think of this Dolly Madison kind of a shape, like this. You make a little dolly every time with your sword tip to get that looping pattern going. And it's the same step pattern, the kind of modified tenkan as the shomanuchi offline. So this time we'll chamber and go back. We're going to come up and see me drawing a little Dolly Madison and around, and then I cut this way, yokomanuchi. I come up, tenkan pattern, draw my Dolly Madison, yokomanuchi. Now the thing is, you don't do this. You want your sword all the way behind you, making an enormous chamber. So it's like a great big, long, and bent in half Dolly Madison. Because the little head part of her, the little head part of the loop happens over your head, like this. So I can chamber, bring it down for a yokomanuchi. Then I bring it up, over my head, yokomanuchi. You can practice. Let me just show you the suburi first. So I'm here, and I step back to here. Looping, yokomanuchi. Looping, yokomanuchi. Looping, yokomanuchi. Looping, gyaku yokomanuchi. Like that. Now, what was I about to say right before that? Ah, yes! A cool way to practice this. Let's get Zoe to hold this. So you hold that right there, point it right at my nose. And if I knock it off center, put it back on center. Scoot that hand back just right there. So Zoe's going to practice holding something right at my face that's coming to attack me. And then I get ready. So the upper part, I'm using the back of my blade to block. Then I'm coming down with a slice. Listen. You hear the zzz. So it should be a tap and a slide. And hold it back immediately. Hold it right there and try to not let it move. So tap, slide. Tap, slide. Because it's parrying away whatever weapon. Like if she were skiing me, like poking me right in the eye, and I tap it away. But of course, in the real case, I'm not cutting at her jaw, I'm cutting at her neck. So let's do that this way. So get right here, and then point it up at me, and try to not let it move. So here I'm coming up, moving it, and I'm using it as a target, slicing. Tap, slice. Tap, slice. half, slice, half, slice. So if you're practicing this and you're hearing whack, 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 not exactly right. It should be whack, 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 whack. It still hits, it's still a chop, but it should be a slicing chop. And you try to avoid blocking with your blade if you can help it, because this is your dad's 3-century-old samurai sword that your great-great-great-grandfather made, so you don't want to ding up the blade. So we're blocking with the back of the blade, and then when we come around, we're slicing with the blade. By the way, when you see a bokken like this, you'll notice it's fat down here and skinny at the top. This is the sharp side, and it's kind of counterintuitive till you understand why. The dull side is actually thinner than the sharp side. You get new people in Aikido, and they always tend to hold it upside down because they're thinking, oh, this sharp side, that must be the blade. No, it is not. The reason the blade side is thicker is, of course, durability. Because if I'm whacking like on Zoe's Joe doing these practice things, I would ding up anything that was thin. So it's made nice and thick. Just to let, yep, here's a stick on this side and thinner on this side. Feel it right there. See what I mean? Okay. All right, so what do we have? Renzoku, watershed, looping, real women love, rugby. What is rugby? What is rugby? Reverse. Renzoku, watershed, looping, reverse. So this time, with the yokomanuchi, again, we chamber back here. We do the yokomanuchi, but now we step forward, flip our blade upside down, and slice up. And then yokomanuchi, flip our blade over, and slice up. And of course, you know what that's doing is slicing from here to here. So instead of a head and an arm, you get half of a samurai. Or maybe your blade doesn't go all the way through and you have to go. Okay. Now, with this one, it is not self-alternating. So there's a regular version and a gyaku version. The first version, since you're stepping forward, flip over, cut up. The first version has a really awkward reverse, but a really comfortable yokomanuchi. Yokomanuchi, flip it over, awkward reverse. The gyaku version has the awkward yokomanuchi with my hands crossed. When I flip my sword over, for the reverse cut, my hands are very comfortable. So let me do it from the side. I have yokomanuchi, flip it over, reverse. Yokomanuchi, flip it over, reverse. From the other side, gyaku yokomanuchi, flip it over, reverse cut. Gyaku yokomanuchi, flip it over, reverse cut. Like that. So there we have it. Renzoku, watershed, looping, reverse. Real women love rugby.
What's rugby?
Renzoku means just repeating. Watershed is when we make that high block. Looping is the little Dolly Madison shape. And then rugby is reverse, the one that we just did that is not self-alternating, that there is a gyaku and regular version. Rugby is a type of, is how football started. And rugby is something that only the roughest of guys like, and typically women are not into it, so it's really a kind of easy to remember kind of a thing. Real women love rugby, yeah! Not that women can't love rugby. Not that men can't love macrame. All right, so then I guess it would have been smarter to show you this first, the ski series. Not truly the ski series because the last one is not truly a ski. It kind of blocks a ski. The first one is ski, shomanuchi. The second one is softball or a ski block. The last one is dominates or deflection. So what the smack is a ski in the first place, and it's just a straight ahead stab. So I'm chambering my bokken here, and I'm coming right at you. Don't worry, Master Settles, I'm watching, coming just within a foot of the camera, just like that. From the side, chambering here, bringing it up, ski. From the other side, chambering here, bringing it up, ski, like that. So And I don't know why one of the official suburis is not just a ski renzoku. I guess it could be. Chamber here, you bring it up, ski. You bring it back, ski. Or you're just walking down the floor doing stabs like that. But it's not. So we start there, we go back. This time we lower it, we chamber it to position, ski. And then you skip forward, shomanuchi. And you chamber, ski, skip forward, shomanuchi. And there's that weird shomanuchi cut with your left wrist right by your left leg. Then you chamber, ski, skip forward, shomanuchi. So from the side, go back, move down, chamber it, ski, skip forward, shomanuchi. Chamber it this way, ski, skip forward, shomanuchi. Another way. Ski, skip forward, shomanuchi, chamber. Ski, skip forward, shomanuchi. So there's supersonic, and like I said, it's not truly an S, it's a T, but it sounds like an S, so I used an S mnemonic device. So there's supersonic, softball is ski block. I really like this one. This one just resonates with me. Same chamber. I'm doing my ski, and I'm stepping back and sweeping the blade across. A common mistake with this one is keeping your hands comfortable. You've got to really lower your hands because we're both aiming at vital areas, me and my opponent. So if I ski here and then I keep my hands comfortable and block here, if the sword's anywhere in this area, it's either going to catch my handle or one of my hands. So after my ski, I want to drop my hands and block right across. So my lowered hand is almost straight. And I get my knees down and I block where my sword is right in the business area. Then I raise it up to business area, ski, and then a gyaku block, like that. And this arm's almost straight. Ski, scoop back, and that's like a little scooch back. So here we go again. Back, here, ski, scooch back, block, ski, scooch back, block, ski, scooch back, block, ski, scooch back, block. You got those knees bent, Alejandro? You better. The last one is a deflection. And it is not a ski, but it's specifically designed to block a ski. So with this one, we start here, then we lower our blade, and we just scoot to the side and deflect the ski. Then we scoot the other way, deflect the ski. Deflect the ski, deflect the ski. So my legs never cross. They're going like this. So of course, to step my right leg first, the front leg over, is a little awkward, or to step this leg first is a little awkward too. So with my right leg forward, I'm stepping my left this way and my right that way. So left, right, right, left, left, right, right, left, right, left, left, right, knee slightly bent, right, left, left, right. Common mistake you see with deflection is people will step right and deflect right. Step left and deflect left. What that does, Zoe, please, right here. And let's get slightly offline. So Zoe's coming to stab me in the tummy, and I'm deflecting and stepping, but it's still pointed at me. Why? Because I'm stepping right into the path of the deflection. So I'm moving the weapon toward where I'm moving my body. Not a good idea. So when she's skiing, I need to deflect one way and step the other. And she skis again, deflect one way and step the other. Thank you, Ms. Zoe. So here, lower the blade, move the target, move the weapon. Move the target, move the weapon. Move the target, move the weapon, move the target, move the weapon. Another common mistake, once again, keeping your hands in a comfortable place. You're too lazy. So I'm here deflecting. Great if he's trying to stab me in the face. Unlikely. tragic, very risky if he's stabbing me down here, which is very light because that's where your sword is, and that's a really comfortable ski right there. So I need to get my hands down. So by the end of my deflection, this left arm is straight, like that. And this right hand is a pivot. That's all it does. The left hand is your controller. It's controlling the Joe. There's that whole right hand, left hand thing. And I get it. I've had lefties say, yeah, but it's just more comfortable to be doing the pivoting with my left. Of course it is. You just have to get used to it the other way. Or go left-handed and then good luck finding somebody to help you. Move the target, move the weapon, target weapon, target weapon, target weapon. Deflection, 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 deflection. Now, all of the bokken suburi start off like this. And you know what? There is a name for that position. It's total trivia, but it escapes me now. See, I'll have to go back and insert a video in here that shows me knowing what it is. But you always start in this bokken ready position. Maybe Master Settles will speak up in a minute and tell me what it was. Whatever sticks you use, just go slow so you don't break stuff in your houses. Especially with longer sticks, it's easy to accidentally hit a roof, fan, table. Yes. Listen to Master Settles. When I went through a phase of really being into the bokken. I mean, hot and heavy. I'd get calluses on my hands and my shoulders would ache. And I would practice. I practiced for like a month with a real bokken. And after breaking my second set of ceiling fan blades, Miss Chicago forbid the bokken in the house. The problem is I was watching tutorial videos, so I couldn't take the TV outside, or I could, but it'd be a big headache. So what I did is I got a piece of bamboo and I cut it the size of a handle plus about 2 inches. So I just had a fake blade and I would just imagine where the blade is. That would serve my purposes well enough to just watch the videos and internalize whatever exercises were being demonstrated. And then I'd go outside with my real bokken so I had the actual weight and practice them. And that's a case where these mnemonic things really help you because you don't want to go, what was number 7? And go back in. Oh, there it is, number 7. And to discover what's next. So with that mnemonic device, you can at least remember your list. If you can remember the list, then it's in your head. If it's in your head, you'll practice. If you practice, boom, you got it, dog diggity. Boom. Don't say that word in this dojo. Okay, so let's do these one at a time, then we'll get out of here. Here, write these down. There's our mnemonic list. Stop slacking off. Real women love rugby. Supersonic, softball, dominates. And there's the real list. Shomanuchi, Shomanuchi Shiko Drop, Shomanuchi Offline. So I just call it Shomanuchi Shiko Drop Offline. And then the Yokomanuchis, Renzoku, Watershed, Looping Reverse. And then the skis, Shomanuchi, Block, and Deflection. All right. So with that, now that you've all scribbled that down really quickly, let's do some Shomanuchi, which is an in-place one. So we're here, and let's do 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Let's do it from the side. Here we go. 1, 2, knees bent. 3, 4, and 5. Good. Shomanuchi Shiko Drop. Stop slacking for Shiko Drop. Here we go. And 1. Oh, here, let's do it in place. 2. I'm going to do these walking. 3, 4, and 5. From the side. 1. Walking forward. 2, 3, 4, and 5. And then Shomanuchi Offline. So right here. Oh, sorry. 1, 2, And then we're ready for the Yokomanuchi series. Real Women Love Rugby, Renzoku, Watershed, Looping, Reverse. The first one, Renzoku. Yokomanuchi, Renzoku. From the side. All right, Renzoku, Real Women, Watershed. On the side. Renzoku, Watershed, Looping. I don't know if there's any point to doing it sideways, but I will. Okay, Renzoku, Watershed, Looping, Reverse. Nope, I did a watershed. Should be a reverse cut. Sorry. And of course, the Renzoku version. From the side. Regular version. And Renzoku. Okay, Renzoku, Watershed, Looping, Reverse. Then we've got our three skis. Ski Shomanuchi. Better not get any closer. From the side. All right. That was Shomanuchi. Oh, let's see here. Supersonic, soft ball, dominate. So that's ski Shomanuchi, soft ball, ski black. Ah, that was a sloppy chamber. And from the side. And last but not least, deflection. All right. All right, folks. I hope you have had a good time with the sword of Aikido, really the bokken of Aikido. Oh, and make sure you subscribe to our channel if you haven't already, and you want to poke this icon, Not this one, because if this one will trigger a team of rabid ninjas to come visit your door. You don't want that. So if you do, undo it and click this one really quickly. This one, if you click this button in the morning, you will find a whole herd of precious, cute, white Easter bunnies at your door, delivering goblets of gold in their little teeth. Oh, here's your gold. Seriously, folks, thanks for coming. What happened to quarantine? Don't even talk about that. The stance is spelled hanmi. That was the typo on my end. It's standard ready position in Japanese martial arts in general. Yes, it is, Master John, but there's a specific stance for a hanmi with a sword right here. And when I remember it, I'm going to be so mad. I will have to enter it in the description. Whatever the case is, 5:54, and Miss Chicago is expecting us at home. Hey, Ezra and Soren, you want to come say bye? I love saying bye. Let me move my bokken before someone gets hurt. Come on, Soren.
I'm going to be here.
You going to be there? Okay, good. All right, guys. Thanks for coming. And we will see you later. This has been a South Miami Taekwondo live stream with Master Jeff. Avoid practicing the techniques during live stream with Master Jeff. Drunk, stoned, sloshed, tipsy, buzzed, blotto, slammed, plowed, jolly, play-eyed, hammered, wasted, inebriated, or otherwise intoxicated. Watching live stream with Master Jeff, you acknowledge the possibility of and waive all liability for hematoma, laceration, occipital fracture, broken nose, acute mandibular dislocation, strained wrist, hyperextended elbow, broken ribs, bruising, or bleeding, tear, sprains, fractures, dislocated shoulder, or concussion. All rights reserved. Unauthorized presentation and publication strictly prohibited.